Hi, and good morning, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy morning to join me. I really do appreciate it. So, I woke up this morning and I was like, I want to talk about communism. And then I did a little bit of research and I found out that Fidel Castro's grandson is about to sell Cuba from within itself and down onto into the river, I mean, metaphorically that's not true because Cuba is south of us, you feel me? But like let's just pretend that it was true, then it would make a whole lot of sense, right? And I'm sorry to all of the members of the Communist Party, as it would be, including the CCP, you feel me? After all, they are communists. I mean, really, they are, And I mean, there's not so much wrong with that. You live in a country where the government does not give you an equal opportunity to live a good life. You feel me? You're stuck fighting with the rest of us over the scraps, the breads and the crumbs of whatever's left over. Let them eat cake. You know what I mean? Like us poor people, we want some cake. So that's what we get here in capitalism. We probably shouldn't even be talking about communism, right? Because, like, what does it matter? I mean, we've been fighting this war for like going on 100 years. McCarthyism is a thing. People that engaged in the Red Scare are still alive, There are people um, that are like probably your grandma and grandpa who will tell you that communism is bad. Like, okay, all of that being said, communism is on its way out the door. If it weren't for China, communism would be completely not here. And also, Cuba was a really good example of how a communist nation could flourish even under all of the unnecessary and undue pressure that it has received from the inception of our embargo, which is, not only gridlocked their country and prevented them from developing as a first world nation, but it has it's harmed their people, you know what I mean? Like, and yet we still continue to extract doctors and medical care and availability and resources and stuff, send them over here to the United States, and they go back to Cuba. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a single person that's been to Cuba that will tell you they don't like Cuba. Okay, it's a little old school. Yeah, the world kind of forgot about them like 70 years ago. Like seriously, I don't know how they've made it this far. And a mystery to the entire world will always be Fidel Castro, right? Just cuz like what an interesting life that man had, like I do believe he was on record, like the CIA tried to assassinate him hundreds of times. To allocate that kind of resource and time and influence and money over one person that still didn't, like succumb to the pressures of the Western world. You got to give it to Fidel for real. His brother too. This grandson that I'm hearing about is not a good man, and good luck to the Cuban people because Coca-Cola is about to set up shop, my dude. You guys don't have lights right now. I get it, right? There's the whole thing. Don't worry about it. Coca-Cola and PepsiCo have got you, my guy. They'll be there soon, I'm sure. I'm sure they will be. And I'm sure the Cuban and the communist dream will also end, which is, again, super unfortunate because I'm a Spanish speaking, indigenous, native born Hispanic dude, and I'd like to see my Spanish counterparts, making waves or going towards a better and more prosperous life. And instead, I see the Venezuelan president be kidnapped. And I mean, where is he? Where is the president of Venezuela? That's right, he's in a jail with Takashi 69 or no, they like what kind of a life is this? You feel me? Like seriously, you got Takashi 69, the former president, a sitting president of a formerly recognized global superpower. I mean, Venezuela is not like Cuba. You feel me? There's millions of people that live there. Anyways, and Sam Friedman, like, I wish that I was a comic writer and that I had just discovered all of those different plot points and stuff, and turns, but all of that is true. And all of it should be a little weird, right? Just because, like, our lives should not be treated like comic book, storylines and stuff. Just because this is real life, like, I'm serious. And so, yeah, communism, the Spanish people, they're about to sell you out, okay? So, I mean, run, I don't know, look for a piece of good land to have because industry is coming and communism is dead in Cuba. And I think that's unfortunate because communism in and of itself was never the villain. Governments, my friends, have always been the people and or group that you're upset with, okay? That's who you're mad at. So, like, I wish people would understand that, like, it's not any ism you're ever mad at. It's just the people selling you the idea that you have an option to choose between any ism. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter. But communism was not a bad idea. Socialism is a great idea. It's our next step in making sure that the world is still around, in a few centuries. I'm so serious. That's the only way that the world will be able to become a better place. And I feel like communism always had a place in this world, and it does. China is a global superpower, and they continue to make strides. Again, I'm not really digging the way the CCP does things, because even in communism, there's a lot of inherent discrimination and hate and racism. Well, for just an example, I encourage you to look up the Uyghurs region, the Uyghurs people, the Xinjiang region where the Uyghurs people live. Okay? They're an ethnic, local group of religious practitioners that are literally being forced into servitude and slavery. Okay? Just like the UAE is doing to the smaller countries because they charge no income tax, biggest scam in the world, right? We don't charge any income tax, so we welcome all of you poor people from all over the world to come work here. We'll put you on this contract, and we literally own you, and you gotta work this off. And oh, by the way, you're sharing a room with 50 people. This is, again, like, many governments and many countries are guilty of doing this very thing, and it doesn't matter if it's monarchy, or whatever it is, a theocracy, and it doesn't matter. The problem seems to be leadership, and it seems to be government. You see what I'm saying? And so I just feel bad. Cuba was such an awesome place, and it was known all around the world for its quality of healthcare, and it was a global destination. There were some very good institutions there, and the only reason they were good, and the only reason the doctors got good from practicing medicine there, is because it was a state-run nation, government-facilitated healthcare industry. It was never made for profit. And the moment that the industry gets in there, Cigna Healthcare is looking for a lease spot in Savannah. You feel me? Like, seriously, I feel bad, and I really wish that Castro, had a little bit more of his grandpa in him, because that's not cool. You feel me? Like, your grandpa just spent like nearly a century making sure that the inhabitants of that country were able to live a peaceful and happy life. Like, you just threw all that out the window, my dude. And if you continue to deal with the fascists here that run our current government in this country, you will quickly find out that, it's not good for you, and you should stop, and you should not allow the United States government to have any sort of peaceful negotiations with you guys, right? I mean, you're such a small nation. It's almost a joke, right? Like, I mean, in terms of just physical size and stuff, and it's just sort of like the Cuban Missile Crisis. I mean, Jesus Christ. Cuba is a pretty important little country, I will say. I just am recognizing that, like, you just stop. You feel me? Like Cuba, you've been doing all right, peacefully fighting a battle that you had no chance winning from the beginning. And it sucks that you are making the decision to throw in the white flag, throw up the white flag, throw in the white towel, and sacrifice all of what your literal family has done. Like, if it weren't for your grandpa, dude, like, you feel me? Like, millions of Cubanos all over the world, like, they wouldn't have had an opportunity to live a kind of communist life that the government sold them. And again, the communist life wasn't for everybody. And if I lived on a little island that I could run across in half a day, I'd probably lose my mind too. You know, not a huge fan of islands. But at the end of the day, they are people. They need opportunity. And we continue as a country to not only not help them, but like we continue to try and alienate them, gaslight them, and force them into accepting American policy when like all they want is their stuff. Okay? That's all they want. Cuba, or I guess that's all they wanted. All they wanted was their stuff. And moving forward now, young Castro, as the US media has dubbed him, I'm sure will, likely be sitting on the board of the new kind of Enron next month. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what these guys do. It's unfortunate, and I'm really disappointed. Seriously, not just as a Spanish speaking person or as a Hispanic, but like what's up with that, man? Like the Venezuelan president didn't sell out, and he's on comfy up in some cell in Manhattan. Like, Jesus. My cat says good morning. Anyways, Jackie Chan, dude. Hey guys, I really appreciate you watching my videos. Thank you very much. If you see a wild cat fly across the screen, he's a ragdoll. His name is Jackie Chan, and he gets zoomies at like 6 o'clock or something. Cats are crazy. You feel me? These cats run around all night, like just running. You know what I mean? They call it the zoomies, and that's fine. I love these cats. They're really cool. Yeah, out of character now. I am a socialist, you feel me? Which is a lot worse than communist, I guess, because communism isn't all the way dedicated to the cause. You feel me? I'm a socialist, but I respect communism. I do. It's comes from a good place, and if it's small enough, like Cuba, and if it's run efficient enough, like Cuba, things tend to go very well for the local inhabitants. And I don't know why else they would need to go good for anybody other than the people that lived there and that were born there. Like, why are you interested in Cuba having such, like, who cares? You feel me? Like, I mean, unless, again, you were born in Cuba, then you'd have every reason to care. But it's just sort of like, yes, they're strategically, geographically located. They got a cool spot. They have a great economy, other than the fact that when other countries aren't helping them or aren't buying their imports or their exports, like, yeah, any country is gonna go bankrupt tomorrow, dude. Like, seriously, you can't just be like the United States and be like, oh yeah, by the way, Argentina, we're not buying anything from you anymore. But like, you got to continue to accept our US dollar, and it's just sort of like, what's going on? Oh yeah, that's why wars start. That's why the president of Venezuela is in a jail cell with his wife for crimes they never committed against a government that they have no part of. Like, that's crazy, man. That's all crazy talk. And I'm just saying, like I've said all the other times when crazy things have happened, and I've tried to just, like, raise my hand. This is not good, and it's unfortunate. I don't really enjoy reading news about young Castro, and his decision to sell out to fascism. Does any other ism win, or is it just always fascism? Like, that's, as an adult, that's what I'm interested in. And honestly, I don't have any conclusive data to lead you anywhere other than I don't know. Like, because from the looks of it, it looks like fascism always wins, regardless of what you call it. You feel me? It just seems like that's what trumps good. And it would just be so ironic that Trump is a double entendre and it can be used not just as a fascist surname, but also a verb, to trump. Or I guess, yeah. But like, if you're playing the trumpet, are you trumping? I, you know, anyways, I'll have to look that up. I've never tried to conjugate trumpet into a action phrase. Okay. Thank you guys for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. I look forward to making more videos this week and I think today. So have a really awesome Monday and we'll talk to everybody really soon, okay? Bye.